Hey guys, good morning. Hello. Can take a deep breath. Ground myself, which I'm really learning. Today I want to jam on something that I know a lot of us are feeling, I know a lot of us are thinking, and I also know a lot of us are struggling with. And I always come in here and straight up share my struggles so that people don't feel alone. Share my struggles so that, in this world of, social media filters and life and, all that it's not always what you see. It's the behind the scenes of our life that is not always on camera, or the branding photos. That's not real life. Real life is this. It's the struggles, the ups and the downs, and the in between. So with that being said, I have been going through it, just as many of you, up and down, a lot of different things that I'm worried about, and a lot of different things that this brings up. 10 years ago, this is when I built my business for Rachel's Wellness. And so not only am I seeing the pain that everyone is experiencing, but this is just like, it's like the anniversary of when I built my business in the recession. And so I don't want to get into a long story because I've got to teach in about 30 minutes. But the short is this: we did lose everything. Our whole business, our family, business in the crash of the economy. And we were fortunate that we had paid off our home because we thought that would be a really great investment. So when we had lost everything, I did have a choice. And I'm saying this because this is really important for us to recognize, that we do always have a choice. I did have a choice to go back to Marcus and Millichap, which is one of the top unbelievable nationwide commercial real estate brokerage houses that you could be in. I had made a name for myself really quick because I had done the work. And that means that I had worked for another commercial brokerage house. It was a very mom and pop, small, but they had, we had people at that very small firm who dominated Philadelphia because of their relationships. And that's an important thing to understand. I paid my dues. I worked for free for some of the top people because I wanted to understand what success looked like. I was a sponge. I did anything because I wanted to learn. And I knew that learning wasn't the real estate test, and it wasn't these books. And yeah, we had to read, and I had to read books about mindset, but it wasn't about real estate. What I knew I needed to learn was relationships, relationship building, and how you handle a schedule during the day when you are an independent contractor, which I would say most of us often fail at. We let overwhelm get in the way. We don't depersonalize from what we need to do. So we let that overwhelm run us. Doesn't matter if you love Tony Robbins or you're like me and you love watching athletes. This is the mindset of success. It's whether you let your emotions run your life or you learn how to manage, process, feel, dissect, depersonalize your emotions and turn them into your fucking triumphs. So I paid my dues. Like I said, learn from the best, learn from the top woman in Philadelphia who was like a boss babe in her fucking late 70s. So I tell you that because nothing just comes for free. Nothing's just in a book. Even if you take the best class, like you want to learn Facebook ads right now and you take the best class, you still have to, you learn in the implementation and the doing. So I did that. I could have, like I said, when I felt that I was ready is the key word, when I felt that I was confident enough to do this on my own, that's when I was willing to let go of what was comfortable and also a great job that I would have, I guarantee I would have gone up in that small brokerage house, but I knew I wanted more and I wanted something different. So that's when I went and pitched myself to Marcus and Millichap to go through 3 different tests, the Myers-Briggs, everything. And I wasn't that great at that because I just had never practiced. That's a whole nother story, and we'll talk about that another time. Bottom line is this. I could have taken my whole entire list that I still have on my phone, I still have on my computer. We use a...
Good morning.
Hi, honey. We use a platform called REA. It was a real estate management, contact management platform. And I still had that list. And that decision to not go back to Marcus and Millchat when people were already pitching to me the day that we moved down here, I would say after a few months, was a decision because I knew that I had to do this. That's a mindset. That's a mindset thing. It's not comes from your soul, it comes from the taps, it comes from your I've got to do this. And I tell you this because everyone is struggling right now. Everyone is up against the wall. Everyone is, I would say we're all sitting in our own victimhood to a point. And so when I sat there and, like I said, daily, second to second, 86,400 seconds in a day, we have to work right now to take control of our mind. Last night, I had a tough time. I went to sleep. I was upset. I felt a little angry. I had shitty dreams and shitty sleep. And I woke up and I said, okay, what do I need to do? Listen to Les Brown, listen to Tony Robbins, listen to, for now, the 12th time, the Simon Sinek video that I have on this page. Because it's not just about business. It's about, and I made my son listen to this. I had my husband listen to this. And I've listened to this to reset my fucking brain with the same thing that we always say over and over, which is, this is reinvention. This is life. This isn't just business. And if you didn't listen to it, he'll say, this is not unprecedented. I've listened to it so many times, like I can tell you the exact words from Les Brown and Eric Thomas, because I've listened to it so many times now, and I will listen to it every second I get jacked. He's like, these are not unprecedented times. Like, this has happened. One, sad, yeah, it's a tough time because it brings me back to that 2010 decision, and that was a tough one. And it still brings back old trauma memories, PTSD, stuff of that I've worked through, but it triggers it. So, maybe this is triggering something in your life right now emotionally, and you're shoving your face and you're not doing the things that you need to do and doing all that, because it's hard to self-modulate when we're in pain. It's hard to do the right thing when we feel stressed. That's the difference between a high performance mindset to staying here. That's why I hired people like, a Brendan Bouchard coach. I didn't learn anything new per se. I got reminded that everything that I've ever learned comes down to really a choice. You can either do it or you don't. You can either work out or you can sit on your fucking ass and do nothing. And you got to catch yourself before you wreck yourself. Or you come into community, you hire somebody, and you take care of yourself so you don't feel like a failure, a loser, frustrated. The only thing that ever leads us to that is because we failed ourselves in catching at that moment. Some of us can't catch because maybe you didn't have the mom or dad that you wanted or desired. Maybe you didn't get the job that you thought you were going to get. Maybe right now you're in a job that you lost. Maybe right now you just got furloughed. I mean, whatever it is, listen to what Simon says, because some of you are going to be in jobs right now that are going to change. And if you do want to stay in your organization, have the balls today to say, what am I going to tell them? Why did they need to keep me right now? How can I reinvent myself? How can I reinvent my business? How can I reinvent my mindset, my life? This is reinvention 101. He even says, it's not Uber's fault that every taxi went out of business. It's not Amazon's fault. It's not Starbucks' fault. It's actually, now, we can talk a little about Amazon another time because I'm into a series about Amazon, but we're not going to talk about blame and shame. We're not going to talk about pointing fingers, about the system, the machine, anything. We are the machine. That's why I keep saying this. What we have to learn and what we have to say instead is, okay, so I'm up against the wall. This brand new thing just came in. How am I going to reinvent myself? Because there's a new digital age. No, maybe you had a brick and mortar and the 20 fucking years that you put into it just got pissed down the toilet. And I'm sorry. I really am. And I wish that I could hold you and hug you. And I wish that I could I wish that I could mother you in the same way I'm trying to mother myself. Because this is all about the confidence that you have in yourself and your abilities. There's not a Harvard switch. There's not a special thing. There's not a course. It's called learn that you have what it takes. That's the grit. That's the perseverance I talk about. And we'll get in, this week and there's some stuff that, maybe when I talk, you're not clear, why does she always talk about that? We'll get into the specifics of stuff that we all have to overcome. Each one of us have different stories. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's a choice whether you dim your fucking shine or you shine. It's your choice whether you go in a cave and stay there, or whether you go into a cave and you rise up, because your why and what you stand for and what you live for is so much bigger than your own self and your own little squirrely mind. That's a choice. That's a decision we all make daily. I will end with this. I was really, I was upset the other day. I know it sounds so stupid, but I was upset. Hon, what time is it? Just had to make sure I'm not late for teaching. Scott. He might be out. Let me just make sure I'm not late for teaching, because welcome to my online home. Okay. Many of you know, I love my nails. These are my nails underneath, which is why I'm like, oh my God, I'm not cutting them. I love my nails. I know this sounds ridiculous, and I love my hair. Y'all know. I don't like grays. And I do have beautiful silver gray, but that's also my choice. My choice is that these things, because my son even said it after I had him listen to that Simon video. I said, Max, how are you handling, this? He goes, well, I'm living, his dad said, living your best life. And he goes, no, I'm actually not really doing anything so different. And it was in that moment that I thought, yeah, I can say, oh, Max, you should be doing this, and Max, you should be doing that. But Max has always created a life that he feels comfortable around, and he feels that he can thrive. So I can say, Max, you should be, which that's fear, because I've done that. Max, you should be doing this. You should be, because my own fears get in the way of how I show up and the imprints that I leave in the world with my kids, in my relationships, everything. So this isn't just business. This is our whole life. This is our whole life. Some choices and decisions on the person we want to be. Not who we were yesterday. We're never going to go back. Who you are today. And I said at that moment that he said that to me, because Max and I are very similar, I said, oh, yeah, interesting. I work from home. I have a lot of anxiety. That anxiety I used to think it stopped me from doing things. I learned, don't overextend myself. You don't have to be like other people. Stop comparing yourself, Rachel. You do have a lot of anxiety. That anxiety pummeled me for years. It led me into depression, anxiety, and a lot of other things that I tried to fill under and over. Fill the void. And the void only gets filled when we're really honest with ourselves. So yeah, I do have anxiety that stops me at times from doing things I want to. But I also used to push myself, and I push myself into ulcerative colitis, into sickness, into autoimmune, into all these diseases. And the acceptance and the shit that I've been working on my whole life is to be okay with me. So I said to Max, you're right. I mean, I leave my house for nails and hair, and I do a 2-hour acupuncture every week without fail. There are some things I do without fail because they're like the things that I need to do, my personal blueprint. So when he said that, I thought about it all night. And I actually was upset and angry last night because I was like, these things that I love. So here is the closing of this. I reached out to the person who does my hair, and I was like, I will hire you. This was the key word. I will hire you to get on a Zoom call and teach me how to color my hair. I reached out to some people in nails, and I was like, I will hire you to create a Zoom series on literally how to do your nails from home, which I'm doing this weekend. Scott's going to do one hand, I'll get to the other. And I tell you this because each of those opportunities I heard, well, I mean, I don't know how to do that. That was one. Or the second was, why would you need me to do that? The third was, and it doesn't even matter. It went on with a few. And I sat there and I was like, because I've spent 15 hours looking for tutorials. Just stay with me on this. Because I've looked for 2 weeks and Googled and looked on tutorials and YouTube videos to find the best thing. And I'm confused and I feel overwhelmed, tired, and lost because that's not my zone of genius. And so I thought about that. Wow, choices. Guess what? You wear a hairstylist, you should be doing online stuff. You should be charging for it. It's low cost. It's called $25. 20 people, you just made $500. It's a very simple template on reinventing. Nails, yeah, you should be doing that because people like me and everyone else, that's where we are overwhelmed. I know it sounds ridiculous, but yeah, the tweezering that I have to do for my blonde mustache, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for that blonde mustache, but these are the things that are parts of my life, my everyday. That's the reinvention. That's the reinvention because right now this is our new reality for a little. We can say, oh, well, it should be this and they're going to do this and they're all saying, and that's all I hear. All I hear is pointing fingers. We live in a world. That's cool. Just accept it. Move on. Take fucking control of your life. Do the things that you really want to do because there are people like me who are struggling in these areas of our life, the 24 hours. So when I hear, and this is when it's all going to come back, when I hear anybody say to me, I can't do this. I'm like, no, you mean that you just said you're not willing. Because I didn't know how to do anything. None of us know, but we put in the work. We put in the work and we try and we don't let our overwhelm run our shit. And we don't blame it on all these different things in business. Oh, it's a Facebook algorithm, so I was taught this. I spent this amount of money. Somebody was supposed to. No. But it's like, guess what? Point. I always say, these 3 are pointing right back at you. Look in the mirror. That's the only thing that's broke. And it's a tough thing. I think that's why I always say crisis is unbelievable because it brings us to these real truthful moments of the life that we choose to live. And that life, as I always say to the coaches that I serve, not my students. I think that's such a douchey word. And I'm not dissing anybody who says that because guess what? I am still a health coach. It's the same thing I've always wanted. I wanted to not feel alone. I want somebody to bring in solutions where I feel really lost. I wanted somebody to just say, it's cool. Like, you're not alone. Like, here's the roadmap. I know that's not going to fix it. No roadmap ever worked. No one protocol, anything, which is why I became a coach. But guess what? That feeling, that frustration bled into every part of my life. And it still does. I get overwhelmed when I don't know what to do. My anxiety rises. And I start to have, like last night, really bad sleep, really bad dreams. I guarantee I'm no different than anyone else. See, that's where we have failed as a world. We've separated ourselves in all this bullshit. It's a white thing. It's a black thing. It's a Latino. It's a woman thing. It's a this. It's a wealth. It's an influence. That's the top 1%, and the list goes on. At the end of the day, guess what? We're all in the same position. This doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care what race you are, what color, how you are, whether you're pretty or not pretty. And that's actually the words of Tony Robbins. It doesn't matter. Choice is choice. And that's why I committed for 365 days for 3 years to do Tony Robbins for an hour and a half. So I want to bring you into the stuff that it takes. You're not going to have the same roadmap as me because we're just different people. But it takes Googling. It takes searching. It takes, as my doula used to say to me, Rachel, you are relentless. This has never been any different. When I was sick, I was relentless. When I felt lost, I was relentless. When my kids had heavy metals and were sick, I was relentless. I am not willing to fucking stand for just what people give. I ask the questions. My job as a coach was not to tell somebody, you should do paleo, you should do raw, you should do this, because there wasn't any one thing. My job was to put the power back in the hands of my client. The same way that my doula, same way that every person who has been in my life that I choose to surround myself around don't have a one magic bullet cure. They say, you know what? It's inside of you. You want to birth? Guess what? Women did this forever without drugs. They did it in the fields. They did this because it's primal. It's inside of you. You just have been robbed of that. So I watch all these videos. To birth naturally twice, especially on the second time, because you know how bad the pain is, that takes exercise and push-ups. And I did that daily. I watched videos daily to train myself. I did birthing from within. It wasn't just about birth, it was fear. What fears are stopping you? That's why you will see a woman often say she wants to do natural birth, and she gets to that last part, and it's hard, and you're up against the wall, and it's only you and your deepest breath. And a woman might all of a sudden have problems and complications. Again, this is just a generalization. There's complications, and all of a sudden she gets an epidural and the baby just comes out. Wasn't necessarily always complications. It's fear. It's fear. It's nothing. It's fear. So I am going to leave off. I got 10 minutes until I'm teaching on how simple this is. How simple it is to change people's lives and to make money doing it, and to meet people where they are right now. This will require all of us to let go of any blueprint, roadmap, launch plan for life. This will require you to let go. And if you don't, it will be harder. It will always be hard, but it will be harder. If you think that there's a magic thing out there right now, this is not the time to go, searching, thinking that it's a time to get the fuck on YouTube like I did when I built this business, and to invest time and to be really, to honor your time, because we're timeless right now. We don't have a lot of time. Thing is, we never have a lot of time. I got lost in that. We all get lost. Now it's time to come home. It's a very simple thing, because I guarantee when we adopt this, as Simon said last night, when we adopt this infinite mindset, this infinite, I can't speak this morning, this infinite mindset, that's a game changer. It's a game changer in your health, your life, your friendships, your intimacy, your job, your relationships. It is all encompassing, because it is all. It's a mindset that many of us either abandon when we're scared. I have, and I'm bringing myself back home, because I've been frustrated for 3.5 years. You guys have all seen it. Those of you who are here, it's not a money thing. It's a core mindset thing. And I will be frustrated again. So let me say that you will be frustrated again, because life is always changing and we're always up against the wall. It's a choice. So I'm going to go brush my teeth. I'm rocking literally. This is my Corona look. Because we don't have time. And this is also the mindset that forces us to change. I already knew I needed to change, and I'll tell you, the day that Kobe died, it wasn't just Kobe. It was that I asked myself that moment that we were at Sammy's swim meet, and Scott and I were saying, wow, isn't this really nice? It's just quiet, and there's no movement, and we're just watching the water. I think it was 10:23, something like that. And all of a sudden, a ding happens on my husband's phone, and he just was like, I can't believe this has got to be wrong. He's right away messaging. I don't know if it was 10:23 or 1:23. I think it was early. It might have been 1. Either way. And he just sat there, and he was in shock. And I was in shock, because I was like, And the more I read, the more I realized, because I asked myself that day, what if today was the last? Would you feel happy with have you been the best mom? Have you been the best? And my answer was no. because I have put off things like, well, I'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'll work on that. And it's like, no, it's today. It's today. So this didn't just happen overnight. This takes steps. It takes work. So that's why I said, I'm going to go now teach, because we all need support. We all need just one person to rise above. If there's bullshit in your life, fucking delete it. Put that in the trash, like my energy worker used to say. And if you can't put that in the trash, ask yourself why you can't put it in the trash. I will see you guys later. I hope you're having a beautiful one. I literally have to go like we do, change in 5 minutes, and just show up, because it ain't about the perfect makeup. It's not about the perfect Instagram filter. Those days, we all just got lost. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. It's so fucking ridiculous. All right. Love all of you. I'll see you guys later. And peace out.